Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
To defend the Constitution. Government is not a creature of just people sitting somewhere under a tree and saying that we want there to be a government and then we created a government. No, there is a constitution that creates the government. Now, the constitution, by creating a government, gives the government legitimacy to work.
Right.
But it also places limitation on what the government can do. Because of the fear that without those limitations, government may abuse the powers given to it and in the end abuse our rights. So if you are a minded Ghanaian, you should always be asking yourself whether the government is acting within the scope of the authority given to the government. Because all of Ghanaians went to a referendum to vote for this constitution in 1992. So every limitation in the constitution, Ghanaians assumed that limitation to be on our government. So when we look at Article 88, Article 88 is not the creation of the NDC government. It's not the creation of the past NPP government. It's the creation of all Ghanaians through the constitution. We are saying that for all of us, this is a document that should check us. Article 88 is instructive. It is saying that all prosecution in the country must be at the behest of the Attorney General. Then goes ahead to say that that Attorney General may delegate his power to some other person by law. We have to ask ourselves whether in the past, when attempts have been made to delegate portions of the Attorney General's powers, how has it been done? Right? Because the Constitution does not contemplate two independent officers prosecuting crimes in Ghana. And there is a reason for that. Because prosecution is an executive mandate. That's why it's not given to the judiciary, it's not given to Parliament. It sits with the executive, right? And the Attorney General is that minister of government who has the mandate under the Constitution to do so. So when he wants to delegate a portion of his mandate to someone, he, the Attorney General himself, must do it according to the Constitution.
So, have we ever had a case in court where the AG has sided with such an argument that you're bringing forward?
And I want to point out the hypocrisy in all of these things. We're here when...
you have not answered the question.
No, allow him to answer.
When Tyrone Maga... He's talking for like 10 minutes. Nobody interjected. Maybe you are in a hurry to go to Kumasi. To see your wife. You can allow you to do that. But let me make this. We're here when Tyrone Magai's case was filed, right? That Chimota case. And the Attorney General at that time, Godfred Dami, opposed it. Every CSO in this country was going mad on the streets that why would you want to challenge someone's right to education? Allow the guy to go to school. So at that time, we didn't know that it was wrong for the Attorney General to side with someone challenging the government. We all expected him to do so. What was the basis? We said that it is in the interest of what? Of justice. And the funny thing is, Godfred Dami himself has done this on a number of situations.
Oh, he has?
Where Godfred Dami has sided with, with the case against...
Really?
Yeah, with the case that Afenyomakin brought against the speaker.
Yes, the decision.
Yes, he didn't...
on declaring some of the seats vacant. Oh, he didn't challenge that?
Dami didn't support the Speaker of Parliament. And that's even more instructive. I'm a private citizen. The Speaker of Parliament is an aspect of government.
State,
and he made a decision. What would have been more just in what Awal is saying than for the AG at the time, who ordinarily should be the person to defend the Speaker of Parliament?
So Dami sets the pace.
He didn't set the pace. This has always been there because AGs have always acted on the assumption that their fidelity is to the Constitution.
I think that's why Thaddeus Sorry then came into the case and it was being challenged. Yeah, I recall. No, I'll just hold on. Let him land.
In this case, OSP was not allowed to join. Thaddeus Sorry was allowed to join.
Yes, but in that case, we are looking at the emergence of
to support the speaker. I'm saying that.
Yeah,
to support the speaker.
What you were talking about was that we've never had a situation where an AG has sided with the other.
I didn't say never. I don't remember. I'm not a lawyer. I also.
Let me even correct Awal on that. Right. For someone who is very interested in this matter, I would have assumed that Awal would have read on the process that were filed by the OSP
before attacking
because the truth of the matter is, I was in court and I argued why the OSP could not join the matter. Justice did not even file an affidavit in opposition. They didn't. The AG didn't file anything. My view is that, and there is a long line of judicial history in this country, that when you are challenging an act of parliament, it is only the state that can defend that. The OSP did not make the law. My issue is not that the OSP has done something wrong. If the OSP had arrested my client in an unlawful way, and I'm challenging the constitutionality of that act, the OSP can be in court to defend his act. I am saying that Parliament passed the law. The law Parliament passed. That law does not allow the OSP to be created.
For the interest of time, because I want to bring in Solo. You're interested in the legal education? You are.
I'm listening. I just want to. I'm listening.
Oh, he should go on. One last issue. The aspect about what Martin Amidu has written, the ethical nature of what the AG is doing. Don't you feel that should also come up, that you have an AG who's not in good, and that's his claim, it's not in good relations with the OSP. So, given that trend he's brought up, you don't expect that he will side with him. That kind of argument, the ethical nature of it, is that something we should look at?
I honestly don't believe that. First and foremost,
yes.
I don't know the relationship between Justice and the
AG,
Ayine and then the OSP. I don't know that, right? But I believe strongly that if I were to be an attorney general, and I believe if anybody who wants to really respect the Constitution, of course it starts from there for me, you would want to sit and ask yourself whether what the plaintiff has filed, there is a reason to go against it, or there is a reason in the interest of justice to support it.
Could that not cloud the judgment of the AG? I think that's where Martin Amidu is coming from. How ethical is it?
And you see,
because if I'm not free with you, as a rational, I mean, and we are just saying that as someone...
for me, that is not even, that's not even a real issue for me. Because you see, what the AG has been invited to do, and what has happened in the past, from Godfrey Dame's time, he did not issue an executive instrument. Right, from that time, none of them issued any executive
for the last 8 years, yes.
So are we saying that the way to go in fighting corruption in this country, the way we are saying an AG cannot fight corruption, and so we should give it to an independent body, are we going to leave it to the whims of an attorney general? So that today there's an attorney general who wants an OSP to go, continue, so he goes. Another time, another person, I don't want to. We want to create an independent body. And that's why Awal is getting all of this misconception.
No, I said,
let me land.
Anomaly.
No, Awal, let me land.
I said it.
Awal made a point here that it is only the prosecutorial bits of the OSP
under contention.
But that is a very lazy reasoning, in my view.
Why?
Because the real reason we created the OSP is to prosecute.
Yes.
No. If it was me about
investigation.
No.
We created it. It's our party that created it. And I'm telling you why we created that office. Read our manifesto. We didn't say prosecution alone. We didn't say that.
I'm making an argument.
I'm saying that when we created that office, that office. The purpose of the creation of that office has nothing to do with only prosecution.
Hold on, yes.
It is in our manifesto.
I'll come to you.
And this is becoming typical of Awal. He never wants me to finish my point. The point is...
Nobody, you have been giving all the time.
Let's the point I'm making...
You also give it the same time.
If it was left with only investigation, we wouldn't have created the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Ghana wanted an independent prosecutor of corruption. That's why his name is not an Office of the Special Investigator and Prosecutor. His name is Office of the Special Prosecutor.
Okay.
That's the major independence we wanted for that office. And so if that is the purpose for the office, and by this arrangement, he must be going to an AG to see. Then we have not really created what we wanted to actually.
All right. Okay, Councillor, I'll come back to you. Let me hear from Solo, and I'll give you the time to explain. You are not telling us this is new. But
what is our coming to explain?
It's in the.
What is our coming to explain again?
Solo, Awal is telling us today, this morning, and you were in the NPP at the same time.
Yes. He wasn't in the NPP at that.
At the time, he was. Are you sure he was?
He joined later.
Later. Okay. So when you were there, when you were also in the NPP. Are you telling us that the reason why the OSP was being created was that the president says, look, we are creating the office so that he could also investigate? Like investigation was the primary reason.
That's
what Awal is
even in the act.
That is not really. That is not the true reason why that office came into being in the first place. Because you see, if you trace the MPP's route back into the 2000s, when he was not even there, when we were doing the real do.
No, I was not even a voter at that time.
So that's the point. So, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So I'm only saying. So I stated a fact. Yeah.
So,
the argument then was that the Attorney General's office would be separated from the Ministry of Justice. That was the argument of the MPP. This business of OSP was just to deal with NDC government appointees. That was it. Because he...
Officially, that wasn't before.
No, but I'm telling you the true intent.
Okay. So you want me to believe you just because you're saying it?
No, by the time done, that's why you have your viewers. Okay. Everyone will make a reason.
You have evidence?
More than. Okay. Martin Amidu had fallen out with the NDC. Mm-hmm. He was writing a lot of episodes. Remember the Woyomi case here and there. He went to even court to fight as a private legal practitioner and so on and so forth. So the then administration realized that if they were to set up a body like that and bring in Martin Amidu, he could go and persecute. Not prosecute.
Not prosecute?
Persecute the NDC appointees. That was the intent. So you remember in 2017 when they went to Parliament, they went under a certificate of urgency. The first time they laid the bill, it was under a certificate of urgency, flattening all parliamentary procedures. Their minds were averted to it. Some of us in the MPP then said, look, I'm not a lawyer, but look, let me tell you, the Constitution has been written in simple English. It's not ambiguous. Nobody can convince you that. And for the purposes you have been talking about Article 88, somebody sent me a message that what is this Article 88.4 that you be both. When you say it, you just have to read it to the people so that they understand it. Or is it?
So are you holding the Constitution?
That, I always
yes, okay, read.
So 88.4. All offenses prosecuted in the name of the Republic of Ghana shall be at the suit of the Attorney General or any other person authorized by him, that is the Attorney General, in accordance with any law. This one, you need any superfluous English to understand this. That it is the Attorney General that must lead all prosecutions. So we said that, look, then why don't we amend this portion of the Constitution to allow for flexibility if indeed we really want to guarantee their independence? They said no, and that's why I agree with Sammy that Professor Michael Quay must be the last person to speak on this matter. Anytime I hear him on this matter, I flare up. Because you see, look, when you go past the age of 50 years, you must never be afraid of anything. All your interest must be is to see to nation building. You understand? You were the Speaker of Parliament. You are a constitutional lawyer, a political scientist.
Yes, very respected. Really.
Very respected. Yes. The number of lectures that he gave to us when we were those days. And you have this before you. Was it because of fear of Nana Akufo-Addo?
Oh, Solo. You're bringing...
No, that's the conclusion. Because what he's doing now...
You're bringing in the...
What he's doing now... Now come to why he's angry now.
So, but you see, if you go back to Samia's, the Hansa he was reading...
No, but it's also clear. That's what I'm saying that.
He was saying, I think at the time, he had the idea that once it was being passed by Parliament... then it's fine. No, that's what he said. Because I also saw...
yes, but he was wrong.
That was the idea.
First of all, that has not been the idea.
Yeah, because he's saying...
He knew it.
He's saying to Dominic Ayede that, look, we are operating here in Parliament. Once we pass that and we give the authority...
How could that have sufficed? He knows it. And now his afterwards interviews have even shown that he never believed in the act. So what was haunting him? Why couldn't he man up, look straight at it and say, no, this will not work?
Look at others' face and say what?
Look at the president's face. You understand? And tell him, because he was, forget about he being a Speaker of Parliament. He was a member of the MPP and still a member, and a senior member for that matter. And a lawyer. So it's not as though he didn't know his law. But he allowed it to be passed. Now, fast forward. The office came into being. The office was established in 2018. To deal with what? Corruption and corruption-related offenses. And to recover what? Proceeds. Remember, 2018 to 2021, that was the tenure of Martin Amidu. The Auditor General tells us that the country lost close to 37 billion Ghana cedis through corruption. Nothing was done about it. This is the era of Martin Amidu. The core mandate, this one, it is coming out of audit. That you could go after these people and then make the attempt of recovering the process.
The AG, the Auditor General also has that power to surcharge.
No, but I'm saying that as part of his mandate, these are corruption matters. The AG, the Auditor General is slacking. You're filling the void. He refused or decided, did the lazy job Martin Amidu, and they don't go after them. Now, fast forward, he resigned. And when he was resigned, what did he say? He called your president, Nana Akufo-Addo, as the mother serpent of corruption. And left. And there came Kissi Agyabin. Kissi Agyabin took it from the 37 billion. Then the Auditor General between 2022 to 2024. Remember, Kissi Agyabin came in 2022. Between 2022 to 2024, this country lost 42.1 billion.
So how is that a problem of Kissi Agyabin? When you have an Auditor General? These
are low-hanging fruits. The Auditor General has exposed to you. You are being paid that office between 2018.
We are paying the same Auditor General to search.
So why is it that I want to justify to why I have never believed in that office?
Oh, you feel so it's a waste of time?
Total waste of everybody's time. Total waste of everybody's time. Kissi Agyabin himself had the cause to organize press conferences. In one breath, he tells us that the court is not helping him. Do you remember that?
Yes.
In another breath, he tells us that Ankwanoma or the crab of which soul did you sacrifice for this country? You work with bodyguards.
In Amoka.
Bodyguards. Look, this case that we are talking about.
And that's my point. Are we not jealous of the office?
How can I be jealous of such an office?
Going on?
How can I be jealous?
If you had the opportunity, you would have taken
No. If I had the opportunity.
Is the AG not jealous? Like, because look, the budgetary allocations to that office compared to, could it not be a case of jealousy? The fact that those who are working at the Attorney General Department, look at the OSP people. And including you're all jealous.
I cannot be jealous. I submitted my petition to the OSP, remember, concerning the pickups against Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Again,
I submitted to him, not even a common courtesy of getting back to me. That matter, have you ever heard being investigated? By the way, the issue that is in court, the Issa Seydou's case, what is it about? You remember what that case is about? When someone imported containers of rice, 10.
Okay, rice.
Issa Seydou and Kekose. You know Kekose? Kekose was a director at the office of the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. They took that rice, and we are told that they shared this rice to people that were fasting. It's a serious matter.
Are you sure?
You have forgotten about this case? In the Issa Seydou case, you don't know it.
So you are bringing in Dr. No.
Kekose was a director at the office of the Vice.
Yes, but that's a different personality.
So what I'm saying is that, look, this office, from the UP's perspective, and we have said it in our great transformational plan for purposes of this yellow book.
That's it.
We have said in our plan that to assure a true independent body, all the anti-corruption agencies
should be merged into one. So you support the constitutional review?
Absolutely. Okay. And then we appoint an anti-corruption czar and amend Article 88 to assure them or guarantee them of that true independence. And we are even going further to say that there is a need for a second chamber of parliament. And what that chamber will be doing, because if the argument is that the Attorney General is appointed by the President, of course, who appoints the OSP? The reason why we say that the Attorney General's office is not independent, but it is the President that also appoints the OSP. So we are saying that such appointments must be done by the second chamber, comprising of former CDS, IGPs.
Can the Council of State simply do that?
The Council of State, the political appointments in there. You understand? So we believe in the second chamber. But until then, as it is right now, I believe that if this is how the OSP is behaving, then it is better we push all those resources to the Attorney General's office and make them efficient.
So why can't the AG just give the authorization?
But even if they give, the man must go for it. Look, at the point, we were told that by Sremsai that, all this while we were talking about Kerofuriata, the impression has been created that the extradition orders have even been given to the Attorney General. Until Sremsai came and said that multiple requests. These were the words used by Sremsai. The man was not budging. What is his interest? But let me tell this administration, if they don't know day, they must look at night. One of the reasons they won election 2024 was corruption. If they are going to rely on this OSP, an OSP who goes to court with 78 charges, by the time we are done with 10 charges, it's 13 years. As a clue. then they will be eating at the side of
I don't want us to be speculative. Okay, you know what I'll do? I want to come to Dr. Samia and then Awal before Council. Maybe some of you have questions for him. But let's do this. There are some brief tapes that we have of the OSP himself and then Haruna Idrisu at the time, who was is it minority?
Haruna was right.
Yeah, he also raised some.
He raised it.
So let's watch that briefly, and then I'll come back to Dr. Samia in a while. Then we open up for questions. Probably some of you have questions for Council. Yeah, let's watch that now.
Title for our purposes is when you say prosecute these offences on the authority of the Attorney General. Which Attorney General? Where then is the independence that you promise? We will say that the appointing authority, the president shall appoint the special prosecutor or a special counsel as it is in other jurisdictions with the prior approval of Parliament, and probably even further recommend with 2/3 majority, so that the person is a strong personality who is subject not just to executive nomination but prior approval of Parliament. We also must strongly recommend that an addition to the remit of the office of the special prosecutor must be recommendations of Parliament based on the Public Accounts Committee report, so that the leakages, misappropriation, embezzlement also can directly be punished by the special prosecutor. What is even more important in the long title for our purposes?
Its mandate directly from Article 88 of the Constitution, and that article is the one that vests the prosecutorial powers of the state in an Attorney General. Now, do you envisage a situation whereby the functions of the special prosecutor would conflict with the functions of the Attorney General, given the fact that these are functions largely derived from the constitutional powers bestowed on the Attorney General?
How things should properly go. There was a concern of this friction between the Attorney General and the OSP under Act 959 because of the way Article 88 has been couched. Because it gives all prosecutorial powers to the Attorney General, but then, by way of delegation, the Attorney General can delegate a person or institution to carry on prosecutions. So what the draftsman did in Act 959 is a sort of taking that discretion under Article 88 from the Attorney General, putting it in Act 959 and saying that the OSP can prosecute on the authority of the Attorney General. It is stated in the Act. And so by that formulation, from the onset in the Act, the OSP already has the authority of the Attorney General because Parliament has said so. But that will not end the story if more delineation is not done. So it appears tenuously, but the draftsman also tried to do something in Act 959 by specifying the offenses the OSP can investigate, can initiate, and conduct prosecutions in respect of. That is corruption and corruption-related offenses. There is a problematic one, the last one, which says existent offenses in relation.
Okay, so that's from the SP himself. Okay, before Doctor, let me come to Yawa. So you see, he acknowledges that indeed there's some more work to be done.
Yes.
Is that not lending credence to what Council is saying?
That will be determined when the Supreme Court sits on his case. You understand? Today, as we speak, the reason for this discussion is as a result of the work that someone had done in the High Court and there is an order. We're saying that if this government is truly interested in the fight against corruption, they should write the authorization for him to do that, so that the rest of the case on authorization, whether there is authorization or not, should be determined by the Supreme Court in Noah's case. That is one. Two is that, you see, when you listen to Martin Amidu's his veteran,
yes,
he mentioned it severally that he is not interested in only prosecution people. He's interested in asset recovery.
We can't take the intent of the bill. We can't take the intent of the bill from Martin Amidu, who was an appointee. The idea should come from government, then the NPP.
In his veteran.
Yes.
In our case, we said we want to prevent corruption.
Yes.
Not necessarily incarcerate people. Wait until the person goes.
How do you deter corruption?
One is that if you check Section 28 of the OSP Act, it gives him the police powers. Section 29 gives him the powers to seek every information that he wants. Section 31, seizure. And Section 38, asset freeze.
So why are you calling it Office of the Special Prosecutor then?
That's why I'm saying that. There are there's only one limitation to his work. And the limitation is the prosecution.
And I'm telling you
how he can even still be independent. Because, you see, the Act mandates him. The office holder.
To investigate.
That
will be the end of it, isn't it?
No, not that. To tell the people of this country every quarter that I have done this investigation, and this is the conclusion, but I am yet to go to court.
So I'm asking you about that. What will be the effect? What will be the effect if I can investigate, I can do all the checks, and yet I can't prosecute?
It helps in curbing corruption, because tomorrow, if he comes to arrest me, and he start giving updates on what I do, even if I am not guilty, it serves as a deterrent to someone. That is one. Two is that, you see, when you check the Act in itself, the appointment of the special prosecutor, the Act says that he is to be nominated by the Attorney General. He and his deputies are to be nominated by the Attorney General for the president to appoint. Then there will be a parliamentary approval.
Does that imply that that's automatic warrant? It's not a warrant.
No, it's not. It's not. I mentioned
my point.
No, even my point. If you listen to me, if you listen to me clearly, I said there is nothing wrong with the law.
Yes. But how does
I'm coming. But you will not allow me. You will not allow me.
I want you to understand.
You have to allow me.
I want you to understand my question so that you can come in. I'm saying that. Then how different is the OSP now, as we are calling it, from, say, Yoko, the Ghana Police Service? You have customs, there are some other, So how did you convince us that what you were establishing at the time was, it was relevant? There was something unique about it.
So I told you that they have several powers, and one of the powers is prosecution.
Yes.
And Martin Amidu, in his veteran, said he was not interested in witch hunting, going to prosecute people. He is interested in the preventive aspect of the work that he's supposed to do, by naming, shaming, and telling people that this is where I have gotten to. That's why I said that. This one, if you even leave the law the way it is, he needs authorization. But he has to do his whole investigation. In the course of the investigation, he's supposed to tell the people of this country, I've started this investigation. I've gotten to this stage. Now it is left with prosecution. I will send the letter for authorization, so that if the AG declined that thing, Ghanaians will get to know. And when you check the architecture, when you check the board of the OSP, it has institutional representation, police service and others, to tell you that indeed we want to see some semblance of autonomy, at least if nothing else.
So was that what you communicated to the people of Ghana?
Yes, but you see, Article 88 is the limitation. That's why when we said we'll do a special prosecutor, we could have really put it before the people of this country that we want to really amend that, so that there will be a referendum to amend it. We couldn't do that. We were in a hurry to create it because we wanted to really create that office to be able to fight corruption. When you say we picked Martin Amidu. Martin Amidu is an independent-minded person. You remember when he started the Wayomi case? When he started, he wanted to use either prosecute by Betty Moult or use her as a prosecution witness. And they prevented him from doing that. And that was one of the reasons he was, they used
I'm saying
Empire and Democrat to really attack him. And that was how he was removed. So it was not really for us to go and witch hunt anyone.
Yes.
If that was the case, why didn't we use some of our lawyers?
So for 8 years.
Anas Arimiao, Anas's lawyer.
Okay, yes. But we
used Anas's lawyer when Anas was in a collision course with some of our people. But we used his lawyer as the OSP.
Okay, but I'm saying to you...
And we gave him the leeway to operate to the extent that Minister of State was removed because of his investigation.
Well, I'm saying that why is it that for the last 8 years, you knew that that challenge had existed, yet we didn't make any attempt as a country to just...
You see, before the law was even passed, the challenge had been there. Because that what you played from Haruna Idrisu was after it was even passed. That the challenge is that if he goes for authorization, it doesn't make him that independent that you want. But we are saying that there are other aspects that he's independent in, that is not under the control of the AG. Even though the AG will nominate him for appointment, he can do his investigations unfitted. He can also do freezing of assets without the AG. Right. The only thing is that if he goes for authorization, the AG could file nolle prosequi. That's the reason the AG still wants this to happen, so that if he's to arrest anyone within the government, he can go and file nolle prosequi, as he has done, because this is the only AG that we know that can file nolle prosequi on cases to the tune of 7 billion Ghana cedi. To the extent that today, when he told us that someone came to him that he wanted to do a plea bargain, he gave him 40%. He said pay 60 and take the 40% because he's an NDC man. Today he's not even telling us whether that thing has even been recovered. The 60% has not been recovered. Senor went to the AG's office through the right information. As I speak right now, the AG does not even know whether the 60% has been recovered because he's not interested in that. So he wants to really get hold of the office of the special prosecutor so that you could file
authorization
against the NDC.
To be given or to be taken? Which one?
Give the authorization today.
For me, I'm currently waiting for the Supreme Court ruling. The matter is in court.
No.
And I cannot.
That's not in federal.
Master, what you were talking about?
That's not in discussion. We are discussing the High Court.
When we are doing, you have spoken. Nobody interjected.
You are 4-1.
Who is the 4-1?
3-1. Sorry. 3.
Are you playing matches here? We are doing 3-1.
So many people here.
3-1 here on the panel.
Can you imagine?
No, on the panel 3-1.
Be clearly, I'm not really. I'm waiting for the matter to be adjudicated in court. I'm surprised that today our find solace in press briefings of OSP. When Dr. Ine was doing the same thing last year, they were complaining. You see, that's the double.
I destroyed the program. It's really misconstrued my word. It's in his law that he has to do periodic. So Aine is not binding by any law.
Was agreeable to some of us.
Let somebody say he's talking about something I have said.
But why wouldn't you talk about what you said?
But you know the things he said, I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything.
You can say
so really bless.
Let him now. You get the time.
It is incontrovertible fact that the idea the MPP used to create the OSP was a witch hunting idea. It was a ploy and a plan to find a way of tarnishing the image of the NDC by putting in place all manner of fake, charges against NDC appointees. Indeed, no less a person than the President Mahama himself was investigated by OSP. Yeah. He actually said that he has availed himself, all his appointees should avail themselves for any prosecutorial process.
Where's your evidence?
President Mahama said it.
Where's your evidence?
Between 2017 and 2020, he himself was investigated. Yes. He himself and cleared.
Is that what
you understand? I'm saying that the idea for creation of the office was to hunt NDC people. But when
you see, hold on. To get from
but when
that proof that
but it is clear they went and picked somebody who publicly had issues with NDC people. You understand? And they threw caution to the wind about all the legal processes that they needed to create the OSP. Today, the office has been there for 8 years, more than 8 years. But can you tell me whether the OSP's office has been able to live up to expectations?
That's what Awa was saying.
If he was delivering,
yes.
I believe Awa here will be defending him.
Yes. Because he will
you understand?
You see, they have not been able to deliver. That is why all these arguments have been able to fester. You understand? Yeah. But me, I'm happy that we are where we are today. That as politicians and as leaders, we must have genuine intentions in whatever we do. We must not allow politics to override the genuineness of whatever we do. Today, the office that was much touted is now struggling to even prosecute any major case.
Don't you see that staring you in the face?
So I'm saying that. Is
that not staring you in the face as a government?
They have been given. I'm saying that they have been given. To go and do. In fact, the president himself has.
The president says don't dissolve the office.
The president is the major vanguard of the OSP.
I get that. Yeah.
And he has demonstrated it beyond that.
So why not?
So I'm saying that the law is the law. The law says that I get authorization. Yes. The Supreme Court says that the authorization might be in the form of he applying and he giving.
I'm asking you that where is the law? Where did the law say?
But the law is clear. It is clear.
The law
you must be authorized.
That it must be emanating from the
relax. The AGs of the OSP's office must apply for authorization.
Why? Why can't government?
Because the president says.
But the president says, go ahead and work. I support your office. So let's grant the authority. That's why I'm asking that.
I'm saying that. This matter that has brought all this conversation is a matter that started a long time ago. I don't know why this authorization.
So I'm asking you, why can't the government simply just give the authorization?
But the government, the Deputy Attorney General has spoken for the government. He says that they are willing to give the authorization.
So just give
the OSP should come. No,
just give it.
He should come. He should come for authorization. Why shouldn't he come?
So you see where you are blackmailing?
No, we are not blackmailing anybody. Nobody is blackmailing anybody. Unless the OSP has come to tell you that authorization, then we wait for no OSP. As for you people have no moral right to discuss this matter.
Why? So I'm asking you.
You have no moral right to discuss this matter. You are supposed to help him work. You are not helping him. I'm saying that the laws are clear. Okay. The laws are clear that he has to come for it. He should go for it.
All right. You know what? We'll probably have some few questions for counsel, so he provides some legal education as well. But probably you want to deal with that for us briefly. So I'll come to you. The aspect of where the authorization should be emanating from, does it have to come from the OSP, or government can also give it? Because it's not clear in the law there. That's what Awal has been saying, that look, just grant him the authority and that's
so
it.
I think there are two responses to that, and I'm gleaning one from everything that has happened.
Yes.
Right. If the OSP is posturing, you see, authorization by the AG means something. If the AG is authorizing you, you are the AG's agent. Right?
Yes.
That means the AG exercises oversight over you. Right. And so, in the mind of the OSP, we have to also look at the OSP's conduct to glean what is the psyche of the OSP. The OSP does not believe that he should be dependent on the AG. So that's what the.
But he hasn't said that. He acknowledges, even from the time of the vetting, that he would have to be reliant, or deal with the AG.
No, but what we're saying to
him,
the OSP said explicitly that issue has been addressed by Parliament.
Okay.
You get it? So the OSP doesn't think that he has to actually go for any authorization. And let me say this, the OSP is actually prosecuting some people. If the OSP ever believed he needed authorization, he would have applied for it a long time ago.
All these years.
You get it? So when I listened to what Mr. Remsai said on your program yesterday, he mentioned that because of the posturing of the OSP, that he doesn't need authorization.
Yes.
How are you then going to be the one to proceed to say, I have written a fiat for you, go ahead to prosecute?
That will undermine his own.
The person thinks I don't need your authorization. So in that circumstance, the way to go is simply for the OSP, now that the court has spoken.
But if it's about prosecution, the AG can just give that. He doesn't need to apply for it.
No, but you know that you need it for your work. You are an institution created to investigate and prosecute.
Why don't you go for it?
And you need authorization. Are you saying that if the AG is not giving it to you, you are going to sit down and then wait until... No. So you must see that from the OSP that I've written to you, I want the authorization.
Then if it's not given, that's when we have grounds to say.
Yes, exactly.
But if he is to do that tomorrow, like by Monday.
Are you working with
this? No, I'm saying that if he's to really do
no.
I said he's incompetent. He must be removed for anyone to come and take over. But if he's to do that,
and please be brief.
Everything
be brief when you're asking the question, and let it be strictly around what we are saying here.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. My own is a contribution. I think that the office of the special prosecutor should not be subservient or legal impotent to the office of the Attorney General. Because I see it from 1992 till now. I see the Attorney General to be a mouthpiece or agent of government. There's no way that if an appointee is under the government that it works for, somebody has done something against the state in terms of financial malfeasance or any corruption, the Attorney General would want to take up the matter very seriously. Because it will think that when they do that, it will tarnish the image of the government, and which in the end will let them lose an election.
So you feel that independence must be guaranteed, but that will mean we need a referendum.
Yes. So if there's anything that is preventing the office of the special prosecutor from doing their work, we should amend the constitution.
Wow. Okay. Maybe. Let's see if you any clarity that you want. Yeah, please draw the microphone closer. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, so we can.
For the fight against corruption or the rule of law, and moreover, to want to ask, what message is it sending to the specialized agencies like the local DRO under the delegated authority?
Just go ahead.
Delegated authority. So right now, is the president going to issue an executive instrument, or the special prosecutor's office is going to be specialized or in a special form?
Okay, so that's what you want to find out from Dr. Aya, whether or not they want to...
Your question.
Council is here, so council
yes. Okay, so thank you. Yes, so my question is that what happens with GRA, YOCO and Co? Do they periodically apply for authorization for the executive instruments to be issued? And if yes or no, I want to know what is the lifespan of an executive instrument. Is it eternal, so to speak, or it is time-bound? Because I want to know to be able to make
how come the police, for instance, and the others...
Yes, have those authorizations. Are they given by application? And if yes, for what lifespan are they supposed to exist?
I think there's a gentleman behind. Yes, okay, we'll do that.
Thank you very much. To me, I think our political class are actually making... fun of us to the extent that they always speak about the political will to fight corruption. But yet still, we don't see that in their actions and their doing. But then, in all this, we need these institutions to fight corruption. So if we really want to do so, and we actually need the office of the special prosecutor to function and function well, I want to have some kind of legal education. Is it really difficult to make the office independent on constitutional grounds? That is my question. Thank you.
Okay, great.
All right, thank you very much. Mine is a contribution too. So I think that it is too late now for the OSP to be dissolved, because a lot of Ghanaians have invested their interest in that office. And
state resource has also gone there.
Yes, and I vehemently oppose that notion. In fact, I've always asked myself, when the OSP came out to say he's coming to do his part, and when he's done, then he will leave because of the pressure that was mounting on him at that time. Have we really asked ourselves what was the situation that he was in? Is it that he's trying to do his work and there are maybe forces bigger than him that were opposing him at the time? And I think that the OSP has proven to be relevant because they've been consistent, even though they've not worked to the satisfaction of the good people of Ghana.
You feel they haven't met our expectation?
I just think that they can do more, and if they are given the opportunity, I'm sure they can deliver to as well. And one other thing is that I think there are too many corrupt cases for the Attorney General alone to solve. Let's give the mandate to OSP and let's see. We've invested a lot of interest in that office, and it is too late for us to. So this current one, I mean, out of, and I don't want to use the word humility. If you're not, the power is not being given to you, why wouldn't you just apply for it? I think that's what Council was asking earlier. I mean, just to show that I'm willing indeed. Yeah, to yes. Look, I think it is high time we try to depoliticize the OSP as the office. I think there's a lot of politicization, and that is one key, factor that is affecting their function. And one critical question I want to ask is that, even after some members of parliament raised, some questions prior to the establishment of the office, yet the office was established. So is it that it was intentionally created and then some loopholes were kept in, so that after it was done serving that purpose, then they can raise that loopholes and then they can quash or dissolve.
So you're agreeing with Solo now?
Yes. That's a critical question.
So let me come to you before you go. That's a question he's asking. What the point you are raising?
Right from the beginning, everyone knew that he was going to have a challenge in terms of authority. He was not independent right from the beginning.
Why are you all speculating that indeed the Eswell administration wanted to use it?
But go and listen to why. Every OSP has a tenure of 7 years. Martin Amidu was appointed when? 2018. So his tenure was to end when? 2025. Why do you think he terminated his midway? He gave the reason that in the matter of a Japan royalties deal, you remember when they wanted to go mortgage our gold royalties, the president, Nana Akufo-Addo, attempted to intervene in that investigation. It was after that he said, I'm no more interested in this whole office. That is correct. Everything is not correct. That's not correct. So clearly, they didn't set up that office to ask it to go and prosecute or investigate any corruption and corruption-related offense. Either than that, half of the Eswell administration would have been behind bars. Because the corruptions were so clear.
So why are you not attacking the AG for not giving the power right now? He could give that.
No, but how can an AG give power when he has not been when the power has not been requested? Do we go about giving power to anybody? Let the OSP go and say that, and in the case, you can't give a blanket authorization. It must be case specific. You understand? If you are taking a frivolous case to court, which can lead to the state losing money. Remember, if you are going to court, it does not mean the state will always win. The state can lose, and that you will be made to pay judgment debt. So
right now, I think in the High Court case, 15,000, right?
So that 15,000, who is going to pay?
You pay it.
I am going to pay.
Yeah, you pay.
Because of Kisia Jabin's seriousness. I'm not going to do that. You understand?
But it's just 15K.
It's just 15K. You know how much this morning I'm not eating. I'm going to give me.
Oh, Solo, you are eating.
Since this morning I'm eating. Maybe after I'm going to see your money.
Okay.
So that is how we must look at all these things and do what is right.
Dr. Ayes here, so don't worry.
Dr. Ayes. Maybe I have to find somebody and give it to him.
Okay, all right. Okay. Okay. Council, so we have to.
I'm not PENDREAM TV. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.